But it's funny how Trump says, you could be the governor of that. Oh, that was beautiful. Come on, this guy, Trump is beautiful. He's going to change some things, Tom.
Oh, I think he's going to change a lot of things.
Make sure we're playing music and we're not. Lights.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday, January 7th edition of the Dawn Patrol. With me this morning is my co-host, good friend, Bob Hoey. Ned Tarmey, who's not with us this morning, he is under the weather. And at 7 o'clock, we'll have Dracut Selectman Chairman Tony Archinski joining us. Bob, how are you? We had I was reading in the Little Sun this morning.
Did you mention Ned?
I did.
Sorry, I wasn't paying
He's
attention.
not paying attention. See what I mean? He's, yeah.
Terrible, terrible.
And we have our producer, John McDonough, here. He was, getting things underway. So we had the election certified yesterday, the presidential election in Washington. They certified it. Carmella had to make the announcement, I believe. I don't think she was too happy with that. But so we got to January 20th is what, about 13 days away, something along that line. So what do you think? Big changes?
You started to say something about that. I read the Lowell Sun, number one.
That's what's about the.
I do not read it anyways. I just don't follow the Lowell Sun at all.
What was in the Sun?
About the certification of the election.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah.
Was that in today?
Yeah.
Did they say peacefully?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All the TV stations are, the election was certified peacefully. Until we're a Democratic state.
I watched it. It was boring, but it was nice to watch her
It
do.
was a lot more exciting last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked watching her do her own defeat. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So.
I've been just involved in football, to be honest with you, and I haven't been a big football fan, but the weather's been keeping me in a little bit. So college football is what I'm really interested in. And
Sure.
the pros have been fun to watch. So some positive stuff. I had a buddy that was caught on national TV down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I was a little scared for him because I love the guy. But they had him on national TV twice. Once he was two-fisted, and it looked like he was sleeping. And two bottles of beer in his hand, or two cans. And so he's a movie star now.
Was that the Sugar Bowl?
Pete Cullen, I can say his name
The
anytime
Sugar
I
Bowl?
want.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, yep, they won. And go Irish, go. So a lot of money in football,
Yeah.
Generates a lot of money.
Yeah.
In Lowell sports, so we've been starting to roll on a lot of things, and we've been weak over the years, Lowell High. But I see some out on the Facebook. I see we're doing some winning, like basketball tournaments, and wrestling definitely getting better.
Yeah.
Watch out for Lowell in the future, because now we have a beautiful. It's not just Doughboy wrestling. Poor Doughboy's been holding Lowell together for years. It's down on Lincoln and Tanner Street. Someday go into Doughboy wrestling. I mean it. You got to go in there.
Yeah.
You'll see 40 kids on the floor, right, on the mats, and about 15 to 20 of them might be girls. And I love watching the girls wrestle, and that's becoming really a strong issue in Lowell. And the middle schools just had a tournament. I think I told you this last week, but I excited myself just knowing they're doing this in our middle schools ahead. A wrestling tournament amongst all the schools, and Sullivan School was the school that won the citywide. They beat all the other middle schools, and the person in charge was when I was on the school committee, the coach at that school. He's a teacher, and he won Teacher of the Year one time. His name's Kevin Sheehan, and the Sheehan family alone. I mean, they have a four-time. Remember what I'm saying here, 4-time state champion in that family.
Sure.
Brian Sheehan and his older brother Patrick was good. So I'm not sure if it was that fair. Sullivan School won because of the coach that they have. It's almost like Mickey Wood. To me now, I've been around. I know Mickey and Dickie really well. I know a lot of the family. I don't believe Mickey would have ever got as great as he was without his brother Dickie. And Dickie's had a million issues in his life, but I don't think Mickey would have been as great as he was because fighting with his brother. His brother was his trainer, to me. And I watched a lot of his life. My favorite fight with him, and everybody's going to say it had to be Gotti, Green. All I remember is the last name, Green. They fought up in Salem, New Hampshire, at the hockey rink up there, Tom.
Okay, I know what you mean.
It might have been Reggie Green. I'm not sure, but he had Mickey. I never seen a person get his head kicked in as bad as Mickey Wood in that fight up in Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And then looked at the wife. I seen he hit him with a body shot, and I turned to my wife and said, "Michelle, it's over." I couldn't believe it. The guy is incredible, Now we have another kid from Lowell, Tom, signed a Division I baseball
I saw that.
commitment to you, Lowell, and I'm excited for that because that stadium that Lowell took over, Spinners Park.
Yep.
A lot of good things. I'm seeing a lot of positivity in Lowell. A lot of positive.
So UMass plays all their games. Does anything else happen at that park besides that? No?
No, but there'll be like, I think it's around 20 home games.
Yeah, but
Division
they're
One
still talking
baseball.
about-
Division One baseball, though. I mean, just that alone.
You're still talking about maybe the Sox getting another team back in the little. You don't think so?
Keep it just to the college level.
Oh, the Spinners were very successful.
Yeah, we're not going to beat out
pandemic
Worcester
killed
now.
them.
Worcester got control of it.
Yeah.
They have it.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
Lowell lost out on that end. But with the city council, too, it's maybe the past city council, but I know they took over and they let Marty Mean and you, Lowell, have the ballpark. But now I heard we don't pay for our graduations. We were paying, when COVID came, right, we used the Spinners Park. And I asked several times, how much did they charge us to use Spinners Park? No one would ever give me an answer. So I'm hoping, you know, whoever gets you is listening, find out what they charged us to rent Spinners Park to have our graduation.
I thought you heard it was like $5 or
No,
$6
it's the
grand.
Lasher Park.
All right, LaLasha Park. When we had it at Songus Arena, we were charging around 20 grand.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, it's been that 20.
But then when it went to outdoors in the Spinners Park, I'm hearing upwards and over of 60,000 they charged us.
What happened to?
So someone proved that one.
Why doesn't the school department use the auditorium anymore like we did for years?
Doesn't have the elbow room. Only 2 people could go.
Oh, okay, so that's why they increased. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah,
with
when
the
I
size of
graduated,
those families, in the 2024 family where there's divorce involved, you have 2 complete sides in many, many cases that want to attend the kid's graduation.
Okay.
So it was in order to, let's get some more seating. And Songus Arena, good choice.
what did
Yes,
you say, Bob? You heard
the Spinners
100,000?
Park, what's that? No, I
Say
said
it.
when we used the outdoor for COVID, we used the Spinners Park.
Bobby, it's the Lasher Ballpark.
LaLasha
Spinners
Ballpark.
is gone.
Okay.
Nice guy, we're great while they're here, but the Spinner people are gone.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the Lasher Ballpark.
Well, and we were only getting into that conversation because you're saying it would be good to get of course it would be good, but you're not getting the Red Sox back. That's a dead deal.
Now,
But at least we don't pay for,
how much did you say that you think they paid at the at LaLasha Park?
my opinion,
What you heard?
like I said, no one would tell you. I say upwards and over of $60,000.
Oh my God!
And we were complaining about paying 20 at the Songus Arena.
And
But-
and this is an outdoor. No, why? Okay, I'll go a step further. Why don't they use College Stadium? I mean, that's what we
It's
do.
outside.
This is outside in Dracut all the time.
Yeah, we're doing,
Well, that's because Dracut, I'll quote my friend John Zimney, Dracut's cheap.
No, it's stupid.
Why don't
I
you
mean,
have yours inside? It's stupid.
What's stupid?
Having your graduation outside.
Why do you say that?
Because weather, it's,
I think in the last 15 years, maybe once it was rained out, and they just go right into the high school. You know? But you just said that you.
well, why don't we use the high school all the time?
Stop, John. Did you hear what Bob said? They use the outside park. It's LaLasha Park for the graduations. That's outside.
at
You're not
COVID.
getting it?
At COVID time.
Yeah. They don't use it now?
But I thought
No,
we used the
they're
Songus
inside.
Arena. I thought we
They're-
used the Songus Arena for graduation.
We did until COVID came, and then they didn't want to have it inside. We had it outside, and that's my question was, how much did they charge us? And they got low good. I know
Yeah.
I bet you anything, and someone prove it. I say it was over 60 grand to rent it, and it was beautiful outdoors because we had good weather. But no, you're right. You're better off using Songus. Songus
Like you
is
say, if
great.
the guy, that was what, 5 years ago now. so-
Songus has a ton of parking. LaLasha lacks parking. So that's why I prefer Songus.
Yeah, they're going to be spending a lot of money down in that area.
Yeah, yeah.
Tommy, you had no trouble getting into the Lowell Sun this morning?
No?
It's bouncing me out.
Yeah.
Mad at me for something, so, okay.
Um,
So-
Lowell Sun coverage this morning, sorry, kids.
So-
there's nothing on it, John, believe me.
We got Tony Archinski coming in so we could talk about Dracut's upcoming elections, but Lowell, that's what's going to start hopefully more people come out and start talking about running.
First council meeting of the year will be tonight, right? I believe they didn't have one last week, right?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
They had no meeting.
So the first meeting will be tonight, so.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch. They've done a good job so far. Danny's done a real good job as the mayor. You know, we used to get people go up there and they could talk for 10, 15 minutes, you know. Danny doesn't allow it, which is really good. That's my favorite part of him right now. You had enough. See you later. You know, they had the police working one night. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I saw him that night when he was
Yeah.
clearing the hall. Yep.
Next.
That was the night of the, was that the night of the homeless thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And right now it's really cold, so you don't see a lot of people out in the homeless camps right now. But it's all about drugs to me. Drugs. I'm not going to shut up until the day I die. Lowell's like Lawrence when it comes to drugs.
Yeah. It's going to be a long time, boy, because drugs are around forever. No matter what, I'd
tell
love
you,
to see it.
You wouldn't believe it if they turn the police department in the direction like they did for the homeless, just to clear the South Common. I'm not talking outside the South Common, in it. They only had a couple of cruisers now and then go down, and eventually there was no tents. Well, if you do the same on the streets, they know who it is. Listen, drug dealers, there's all kinds of rats. People rat each other out all the time. You can make people scared to come to Lowell to sell their drugs. You can do it. You're going to never stop it, but you can cut it down into basically nothing. You know, how would you like to live down in the projects over here? I grew up in Shaughnessy. How would you like to be in Bishop Markham? Would you really like to be living there?
Right.
No way. That housing, someone...
It's all changed.
Yeah, someone made some mistakes with that housing. The North Common, it's just a different place, a different atmosphere.
This is the South Common, Bob.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about the,
I'm just comparing the
talking
two.
about the housing even over there is a lot different.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but they put too many people with major problems into this housing. And it's a big part of our drug problem, too. So it's just, you know, I remember I was only about 10 when I left Shaughnessy Terrace, but you never forget when you live in a housing.
Right.
You never forget. It was great to move in with my grandmother. I didn't have to live in the housing, and you know, the things you heard when you lived in the housing didn't make you feel too good, I'll tell you that.
We got two texts here, so Bobby, you want to read them?
Marty,
It's not all up there. Okay. Can you
Marty
see it?
was probably getting a percentage of that 60 grand. And like I said there, that's just my opinion.
I got to shrink this down.
But no one would ever come up with how
There you
much
go.
we paid. And because they would have been embarrassed how much they charged us. That's why you can't get a figure on it. Good morning. If there was not a large snow event in Washington, would the Democrats have certified the election of 47J? Yeah, they wanted to look like they were really classy. They did it nice. It was nice. But you know what's coming. Chaos is coming. Trump's team is going to cause issues that we've never seen yet.
Yeah.
They're going to try to straighten this out. This is a big problem. I just want to hear what they're going to do with education. You know, I think our friend Cam Kay, we were talking about him earlier. I'll never forget him. I tried when he was running for school committee at the time. I said, Cam, you can't use that issue. It was about giving people that have their kids at Immaculate or Lowell Catholic or any private school. He wanted to give them some money back. He was saving the taxpayers' money by putting their kids in private schools. I said, Cam, believe me, that issue will kill you. You know, it was one of those questions at the time, Tom, like question 2. You know,
Yeah, right.
Are you in favor of giving someone a voucher? And I told him, I said, it's going to destroy you, buddy, that issue. And the union just wiped that question right out.
Next one, Bobby.
Yeah, home run. It's more drugs than mental health. Bishop Markham has been a drug den for decades. No doubt about it. And it's District 4. Let's put it that way. I hate to put it right on Bishop Markham and the Housing Authority, but it's District 4. I don't know, someone's running that district. We got a council. We redistrict the whole city, right? As far as we vote. So
Yep.
District 4, we're sitting in it right here now.
Well,
And we
let's
need,
see who takes him on. I mean, let's just say John doesn't run.
we,
Who's going to run against
listen,
him?
it'd be crazy to run. if he, I'm
Well,
glad he says
if
it.
everybody says that,
Well,
these guys going to
I'll
be.
drive him crazy not to. I mean, it
No, but
would
if
hurt
everybody
him.
says he's crazy to run away, this guy's going to run unopposed. Somebody's going to take him on. I mean, let's just say, who do you think would run
Well, if we say it loud,
downtown?
if we bark loud enough, I think we could get someone from the back central area. I really do.
Wayne Jeunesse is a nice man, but he lacks the spirit to push back, to allow the city of Lowell Police Department to herd, that's the word that was used, to herd the homeless to the South Common for years. Disgraceful. And when the police told me that, hey, John, we're being told by the city manager, herd them to the South Common. And so so there you are, you're homeless. Hey, Tommy, you got to move from here. Your question's going to be to the cop, where do I go? The answer is South Common. Where's that? Over there, big park. So where do you go? South Common. Thank you, Wayne Jeunesse, for pushing back. So, and this small little thing, like what irks me, I'm sure there are plenty of streets in downtown Lowell and over in Centerville that have problems. But Elm Street, there's a big hole at Elm and Chapel.
That's still there. I mean,
It's going to be there till 2026.
You talked about that last summer.
2026, and he does nothing about it. Bob, you want to read this one?
I'm just getting one line of it. Education will be okay. They've taken enough from the public. No, we have to look into education and make some major changes. There's no doubt. And right now, I'll tell you the top issue. I would want to say discipline, but I put that number 2 because of the superintendent that we now have in Lowell. There was never a principal that I ever met in my life, and I've been around education in Lowell for quite a while now, better than our superintendent of schools. The daily school was run with discipline and character, and he made sure the kids were dressed well. You should see what the kids are walking in and out of the high school in, and I've been watching it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but is he doing anything about it?
Who?
The superintendent.
Well, he's done some things so far. Let's face it. This city here, when you try to change that high school, you better have all your weapons. You can't say anything negative about that high school.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, people that work in Lowell think the high school is a great school.
Oh, yeah, I'm just
They
saying.
do,
If
and-
there's an
and-
issue with the dress code, the superintendent, I'm sure through the school committee and the headmaster can address that issue, can't they?
Well, this is what I agree with. Lowell High School is maybe the best school around for the top 1,500 students.
Right.
Now, how about the other 1,700? That's where our problem lies. There's no doubt about it. Special education is number 1. Number 2 would be discipline. Special ed, we have to go look at all the job descriptions of these people that are making over $100,000 a year, because some of them just think, and I'm not going to label them right now, but some of them just think they're supposed to sit in their office because they make the big money. They don't think they're supposed to go out and work with the children, hands-on. So, I'm a pro-tutor person, I'll tell you that. Thank God they raised them, their money about, I think the tutors are making $40 an hour now. I wish they were making 50, but they were only making 30.
Bobby, you want to take care
Yeah,
of these two?
unfortunately, that's parenting how kids dress and present themselves. Well, that's true. There's no doubt about that, because some of the ones I've seen recently, you wouldn't be getting out of my house dressed like that. But then they can always carry the clothes they want to wear in a bag, so it's hard to put that on parents, too. What percentage of the school budget goes toward the retirement administration cost? Well, the roughly $255 million of the school budget, I would say about 88 cents out of every dollar goes to pay the staff and everything about the staff. Yeah, 88 cents. It leaves 12 cents left over to do everything else, and I think Lowell does a great job. The good news for teachers, there's less than 100 teaching days left in the school year. Yeah, that's true. And I would argue with anybody over that when they say, Mr. Hoey, this was one of the mayors at one time. A teacher only works 180 days a year.
What mayor talks like that?
telling you that's how it sounds to your ear when they're telling you a teacher only works 180 days a year. Well, they don't know the good
Well,
teachers.
I'm married to a retired school
Yeah.
teacher, and they're only in school that day. But the method of correcting papers and after school hours is madness. Madness. My wife would be sitting there correcting papers through supper.
And that's who, your wife and people like, that's who I go to get my
Most teachers are like that.
You ain't kidding. And that's what I said. I'll never forget the first time negotiating contracts at the time. And I'm going back in the early 90s. I said no less than 12%. 3, 3, and 3 is 9% for
And I'd
us.
like to
4,
ask
4, and 4.
Our complaining texter, and I appreciate your opinion. Who taught you who taught you the alphabet? Where'd you pick that up? Where'd you pick up the alphabet? A teacher.
Oh, we all have a couple of teachers. Come on. I have a list of teachers that that were better than my parents to me.
Yeah.
Hello.
There are some
That
teachers
scares
out there.
people, huh?
Yeah.
When you say it like that. I had some teachers that I'll never forget. I want to throw a few out because they're past. They're gone. Miss Generakis. Miss Generakis, a music teacher. Floyd McDonald, a gym teacher. Hit me 200-300 ground balls over here. Even on a weekend, he'd drive by as a gym teacher and hit your ground balls. I mean, there's just two. Mr. Dillon, Mr. Ed Kelly, Dan Thurston. Oh, you talk about discipline. Oh, do I wish we could bring back the discipline of the 70s, 60s.
All those erasers in those books.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Murphy left upwards of, I'm pretty sure he left at least 250,000 or 500,000 for the children of Lowell. It's a scholarship that goes on forever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think his name was Dan Murphy. I know he was a science teacher with a desk full of tennis balls. And when you fell asleep, this guy could hit you right between the forehead and your eyes with a
Imagine doing
tennis
that now,
ball.
you'd be sued. Yeah.
Oh, he was a tremendous-
Be on Fox News tonight.
He was a tremendous guy. And you were dealing with kids like myself and my buddies that I hung with. This school, you ever been in this school, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
It's a really big school. It's got a lot of square footage. And one time in the cafeteria, up on the stage, they had industrial arts, they called
Yeah.
it. And it was almost like being in 7th grade, 7-10. 7-1 was the smart, 7-2, they used to do it like that. Something like 7-9. I was in that class, and we'd light cherry bombs in school. I had a friend light one, we'd open the window, and when he lit it, I'd close the window, and he'd have to throw it out into the cafeteria. No kids were in there. There was only us there goofing off. Light them right in the school. But the 7th grade, when I was there, I'm telling you right now, there was no school like that for discipline. I went there 4 different times because of divorce, bouncing around, going to Centerville, moving over here. I loved the school behind me. And that's why I fought so hard for the South Common.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to shut up. Now it's about drugs.
Sure.
Tommy,
You
I want
know?
to read this one from Jeff Thomas, please.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you're the
Current District 4 councilor is only into trying to bring down the city along with one of the persons who continues to file open meeting violations. Not that the open meeting issue isn't an issue, but the council has done more executive secret squirrel meetings than ever, and that has to stop. If the complaint is the city isn't transparent, the filing won't help that.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, I just, and I love listening to Jeff Thomas also, but I'll tell you something right now. This city council, to me, and what they have to deal with so far is doing a really bang-up job. The schools are really the only thing I'm worried about right now. And they're not in great shape. And Lowell High special ed, the jewel of Lowell High, okay, let me put it this way, is called the Freshman Academy. That's Lowell Trade School. You remember where that was?
Yeah.
That was our freshman academy. Now that whole place moved over to the new Lowell
place.
High School.
Yep.
I don't care about maintenance, people saying roofie leaks, and Eric Gitches all over that too. Good, God bless you, because our schools have been like that for years, All our schools. I don't care where you build the school. Put it out at the Colley Stadium. You know what would have happened? Yeah, you're building a brand new thing with a leaky roof.
So this
All our schools.
brand new school has leaky roofs? Is that
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're saying? Oh, man.
Listen, we moved. The things that bother me is this. But anyways, the jewel of Lowell High School is your freshman academy. The person that was running it before, Rothschild, related to Jay Lang, she went off to like Mexico to teach kids. She should have been running the high school, but politics plays major games at Lowell High School. That's just my opinion, folks. And I'm telling you, now the person that's running the freshman academy, she's awesome just like her. So there's your jewel.
Who's running the freshman academy now?
I don't know her name. I just know I have a lot of people that love to feed me the information about the freshman academy. But what I don't like is when you move special ed kids, okay, like we have a lot of special ed problems, all right? Believe me, we do. In Lowell High School, you got the LEAP program down in the cellar in the dungeon, but it's a tremendous program.
Yeah.
You're teaching kids that have some serious issues just how to do laundry.
Well, this comment is a key issue. Also, discipline at home should be a start. Parents have become the kids' friends, not the parents. Kids have no respect for anyone or anything. Very good point.
A lot of truth in that. Yeah, a lot of truth. But again, some of the things they've done, they moved a lot of the special ed people into that new building. And the elevator's not working, so if you have an emergency with some of these kids that can't breathe, some of these kids have all kinds of issues. And I've already been over to the mayor's office one time the past year, recently, and said, Dan, don't let the Lowell Trade School building go to anybody. No nonprofits, please. Keep that for our special ed. It would be the best thing that we ever do. Take all your special ed problems at the high school and put them in their own little building right there, Lowell Trade. Oh, would that be awesome. But again, I'm mad at the school committee. I don't hear them asking any special ed questions, none. Why? Why don't I hear anything? You moved a bunch of people. When you move special ed kids from one building and put them up in a new building, change for those people, a lot of times it's hard. They get used to where they are, you know? And I'm not talking just someone like myself that had a problem reading. I'm talking about kids that have a problem breathing.
Teachers aren't the only profession where someone works 10 or 12 hours a day. They are the only profession that gets 11 weeks off. The numbers are what they are.
Yeah.
And where did you learn how to read? That's what I'll ask you. Where did you learn how to read?
Yeah.
And name what profession has taught you as much as teachers have.
Yeah, you
I'll
know.
wait for that answer.
It's,
Thank you.
and you know, John, when I hear that they have 11 weeks off, let me tell you something. What occupation deserves 11 weeks off? All right? I think
The kids take 11 weeks off, and we wonder why they're dumb. Well, look how far America. The kids get 11 weeks off from learning.
oh, you know,
How's that okay?
I just look at the love teachers gave
Is
me.
it still that much?
That's all I
thought it
look
was like
at.
8 weeks. Is it still 11 weeks?
Well, you
Well,
got-
the school vacations, that's right. You talking about that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snow days.
Well, I don't know much about it because it just came out in the last week or so, but Dracut's looking to start the school day a half hour early and end the school a half hour. In other words, say if they start at 7:30, they'll start at 7. And say they get out at 3 o'clock, they'll get out at 2:30. I guess I don't know what that's all about. Maybe Tony knows more about it when he gets here.
Well, since we blame parents on discipline and that, and there's no doubt parents have a big part of it,
Right.
we tried when I was on the school committee, and again, guy from Chelmsford, Dr. Kafawi, he tried to fix that problem. He closed Cardinal O'Connor School down here on Carter Street. He said, hey, take those 10 kids that are in that school, because it was one of those alternative schools at the time, send them back to the Sullivan School. We're going to use that school for preschool kids. Oh, what a move that was.
Right.
Now, when they went back to the Sullivan School, he wanted them to have a classroom inside that school and make sure you have the professionals that know how to deal with children like myself in that classroom. They can't play basketball. They're not going to eat with the other kids. They're not going to recess with the other kids. You're not going to do anything till you know what you're doing. And and they were going to be in that special classroom, and any school could do that. But you got to put the right people inside that classroom that can handle the kids that give major problems. You know, I remember one of my favorite guys that I ever worked with, and I was on the school committee 7 years, was someone that never got on there, Jim Peters. But I'll tell you something, Jim had some beautiful ideas.
Yeah, he just.
He really did, especially when one time we're debating on what issues we should be talking about, and he said, well, why don't we talk about bullying? And I'll never forget, I went to the Robinson School, and Jim Peters was substituting up there one day.
Yeah, he subs, yeah.
Yeah, he was substituting, and when I heard that, I wanted to go to his classroom and see what's going on, you know? So I go in his classroom, and he's got 8th graders in there, 8th graders, right? He don't have 3rd graders, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I had to, use my prison voice to get it a little bit squared away. I mean, it's unreal what they're dealing with, trying to, but again, we sit here and talk schools. I love John McDonough for doing what he does, having the show on, but here's another one we got here. What do you expect with 88% of the budget goes toward retirement administration? You get leaky roofs and outdated heating systems. Just to get into that leaky roof and the heating systems, we have roughly 28 schools. We might have 29. And when I was on there, which was a while back, the newest school was the Maury School on Pine Street in the Highlands. That was our newer one. Now it's probably more like 30 years old, but when I was around, I was only 8 years old, and 2 out of the 3 boilers were already broken and the roof was leaking. That issue is definitely, in my opinion, when you take a low bidder. Why aren't you taking the best company?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But in this state, Massachusetts, you got to give it to that low bidder for some reason. And that is a big part of the issue when you have a company like Lowell. I'm sorry to say it. We can't maintain our 28 buildings, 29 buildings with the staff that we have. Nothing against them. Lands and buildings, they're called.
We had all this federal money that the manager managed to give away to the not-for-profits in town. We bought new fire trucks. Why didn't you replace the roofs that needed to be replaced instead of giving the money to the not-for-profits?
Well, again,
No city councilor has the courage to ask the shitty manager, why did he do that?
well, in my eyes,
We shouldn't
John,
have given that. Bobby, how much money?
John, I just want to say this. I've never seen them focus on the school buildings like they are now.
Oh,
We
idiot.
haven't maintained a thing in 50 years. I knew. This guy doesn't sleep. There's no way. I have a kid you.
Oh,
Hey, Eric, you want to talk? Happy New Year. Okay, hang on a second. I'll bring you over there. Hang on a second.
Oh, boy. I knew I'd wake up Eric. And Jeff, we got a couple of guys that I love watching the show, and I don't mind being corrected.
You there, Eric? I'm here. Okay. Go ahead, buddy. You're on. You're on.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning,
Happy
Eric.
New Year.
Happy New Year, pal.
When we talk about buildings and maintenance and stuff, we have an archaic structure within the city. That's the first thing that needs repaired. You don't just go out and hire people because, something falls apart. You have to fix the structure. And we need a facilities department. I've been saying that for 3 years. The current one is hire your friend to be your friend. And, we did that between 2 upper management people. We took one from the school department, we put him in charge of DPW, and now, everything is the cheerleading, what I call in government. In government, there's the cheerleading side and the operations side. The cheerleading side will always tell you everything's great, and, until you get, 40 emails from teachers or parents or administrators, and then they still think it's great, and then you try to get over there, but the only way you can get into a school as an elected official is you have to warn them you're coming. So when you warn them that you're coming, you'll find quickly, as I did on Monday, they'll come over and try to fix the problem, that one little problem before you get there. So I truly believe the structure is broken. It's been broken for 100 years. You need somebody in charge who has the ability not to be a cheerleader, but to be an operations person and demand excellence. We pay for it. Believe me, we pay for it. $400 million at the high school, a brand new building. So all those colleague people or downtown people who are trying to push one way or the other, Remember, this building is brand new. So, and they knew it was leaking. We asked a year ago about it, and we were told it wasn't. And then we got the videos just recently. So I think we just need to not reinvent the wheel, but understand what other communities do to make it excellent. When I looked at Cambridge's job description for a person who's in charge of facilities, we love to compare Cambridge to Lowell when we want something that's, you know, in the artsy area, but when it comes time to function, we don't want to do that because they actually have qualifications to get jobs. And I think that that's where the challenge is.
Ask him, what happened with all the federal money that the administration gave to the not-for-profits? Did any city councilor say, hey, let's fix the schools? What happened there?
I think, John, we have, and you know that. When we started seeing the heating issues, I made a motion to switch the money out of the Parks Department, the Parks budget, that we were just going to fluff up, you know, playgrounds and stuff like that, and switch those $1 million that were given to each councilor for their district to spruce up parks into the heating units in the schools, but was quickly turned away saying, oh, we're too far into the process. But there's always an excuse when you don't want to do something in our city. And we should have switched those funds over, and we could have had long-term savings that would have freed up money to do the parks over. But we don't think that way. We're all, you know, as you know, John, when you're an elected official, it's about immediate gratification. What is the fastest way to get another vote? Let's make the parks pretty, because most voters can't see inside a school building and, you know, truthfully, probably have never been in them to see that these heating units aren't working, or, you know, you got all these issues around them. So I think that that's the challenge, is how do we get away from the cheerleading side of government where you're looking for immediate gratification and get to the part of government where we have to get operations that will save you the long-term dollars, as you just outlined.
So what's on the agenda for tonight? That's anything happening with tonight's agenda?
I think every week it depends on what the public thinks is important. But I think, you know, we have some maintenance issues that are going on at the high school. We have the Pawtucket Memorial, the same issues with the heating is there, you know, but they tried to send people over before I got there to clean up the issue. But what they don't understand is I took a device with me, an infrared temperature gauge that can tell me what the temperature is in the building. And, you know, some of the things are sad. Like, they bought air purifiers during COVID for the classrooms. When you opened up the unit, you could see that they were completely black and full of dust, and the filters haven't been changed. Those are simple things. It's $16 for a filter. $16, John. You know, and they can't even do that right. So I think that the things that people need to oversee.
You know how, Eric, you know how you say you have to call before you go to a school? There's no doubt that I was the person they created that over. It was, I'm pretty sure, I thought it was Jerry Nutter that did it, because I used to just go to a school, knock on the door, and go in to look around. And I think we shouldn't have to tell them we're coming. That's how I was. I just thought we should be able to go to any school we want to go to.
Bob, when I hang up, I'll send John the text from the teacher that got sent to the entire city council. So once it got sent, I made an appointment to go there, so you have to go through certain people to get there. When I got there was a maintenance person already on site and a counselor there whose relative is in the school system. So, and when I get there, they're like, oh, it's all okay. You know, we just made adjustments, blah, blah, blah. And then when I go in the room, it's 91 degrees in the room. And it's a 25 by 12 room. And I said, well, why do we have only supply registers in this room and no returns? Why are we not turning this over? And why is this that? And they just like look at each other. So I think that some of the people who we put in certain predicaments need help. And I think that we need to get better at who we're hiring. If we want to look good as a management team, we have to hire the right professionals to make us look good. And if we just want to stay stagnant and be cheerleaders who are saying everything's going good, even though we're getting emails and now videos and pictures of things that are wrong, that they've put in many work requests for that are not being done, you'll certainly see that, you know, there are issues. And they don't like that, because the first thing they say is how negative you are. But after a while, you say, well, how positive can you be when people are extremely frustrated in the workforce, and now you're losing, you know, the efficiency that they demand? And I think that that's the problem, is when you're worried about heat and cooling and everything else, or whether the roof's leaking, how much of an employee are you to do your job if you're doing someone else's job?
Eric, somebody's texting into us. That's why Mr. Gitchia is a gem for the city. He should be the city manager.
Yeah, and I just have one more thing, Eric. Thanks for everything you do. The Smith Baker Center, for instance, when you tear that down, is there any possible way that we could strip it first, meaning get all the slates off the roof, all the different copper, all the things that are valuable, and then let somebody else tear the rest down? Is that possible?
Normally what happens, Bob, is when you go out for the demolition contract, these demolition contracts are extremely smart in the value of things that are within it. And they save all those pieces. If they feel as though the slate, and you know the slate has an extreme value to it, they'll strip that roof right away, and then they use it. So that actually is comprised in the piece of the bidding piece.
Okay.
So they bid against each other, and that will go in the cost that actually lowers it, so they save some money that way.
And the last thing I want to say, you're dealing with issue that affects what I call maintenance of effort, something I could never figure out. Maybe you know a lot more about it than I would ever know about it. I know that. But that's that's the problem. If you go get what you want to fix all our buildings, it's going to affect maintenance of effort, and that's all about money. Yeah. So good luck.
Sure, but
Good luck.
Again, Bob, I don't understand why the city hasn't done that already if you're going to get paid back on another end. And again, what I would say to anybody, the union presidents down to the custodial staff, to everybody, if you're not over mopping a floor because of a water leak or trying to fix, put heat, like we had our heat go in the cafeteria yesterday, but within 2 hours, we had the backup electric heaters in there running and everything, and that rooftop unit's going to be down for a week. Last night I was here at 1 a.m. shooting the temperatures to make sure, and they're at 66 degrees, and it should get to 68 this morning. So, and it didn't cost us anything besides our staff time. So it was readily done, so the kids didn't really get disturbed that much. And what is the cost of that in the learning environment? Do you lose a full day, or do you come in and say, listen, we can make this happen so that people can actually function in what they were hired for? And that's the important piece, is if you have, say, an athletic director worried about, basketball nets going up and down because you don't have anybody in the building who can actually maintain or fix those things, you're taking him away from his job, and we're losing that function also. So we might as well just hire him as the maintenance person for the building and hire another athletic director.
Yeah, and I've been guilty in the past of blaming lands and buildings, and they just aren't staffed enough to take care of the issues that you have. And I wish I never really dumped on lands and buildings, but I did at one time. I did.
No, I don't think you're wrong, Bob. I think that there's deficiencies there also. Time to get to a job. There's a lot of things that the structure needs to change, and it needs to change quick. We're in 2025. We're not in 1988 where you can get away with these things. Today, the units have become more into the technology end of running all of these units and trying to get this stuff done. And I know when you started in roofing, the industry has changed so much today versus when you started. So I think that you have to adapt with time. And if you don't, you end up like the situations we're in. We're throwing good money out the window.
I've seen as a roofer mostly that it causes a lot of damage. I'd be putting the roofs on, and I've never seen anybody replace the filters in the HVAC places. I'd open them up just to look, and there'd be cobwebs and seagulls living in there. And if you don't replace a lousy filter in one of those units, it's not going to last long.
Bob, if you come out to Greater Lowell...
I just want to go out there to eat, buddy. I just want to go out there to eat. I wouldn't want to...
When we started here, and I went and checked those things. And, my one pet peeve was there was no dates on the filters. So when you put in a filter, you should write the date that it got installed so that the next person can check it. We change them every 3 months that way, and I can go up on the roof at any time and just pull one and see when the last time it was checked, because they're mandatory in their contracts now since I got here, was to write the dates down. So you're right. I mean, people can skate away with not doing those things, but in the end, it just affects the air quality in the room and affects the learning environment. And when we get paid to do a job, how boring would it be just sitting on your phone all day rather than just go do things?
We go out to Monday Night Dinner Club, and I had your hat on again last night. You're welcome to come out and eat with us at any time, just for the job you're doing. So thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you guys, because you bring it to light, and you actually help support some of the initiatives that we're trying to push forward. We're all just a very short time in these seats, and hopefully people can understand what the goals are, is to try to make a better city for everybody.
Yeah, so I'll try to help keep John McDonough under control here, you know. It's not easy, but listen, again, from the bottom of my heart, I know what type of job you're doing. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you again for all you do for our city. It really does make a difference. And have a great day.
You
Have a
too.
good one, Eric. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Eric.
Bye, John.
I'll get it in a minute. Leave it.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
That was City Councilor Eric Gitchia chiming in on the phone this morning. Thank you.
That's what's great about being on here, because you know people like Jeff Thomas and Eric are listening. Lee's probably just working hard. You know, he's in charge of that.
Lee's coming pretty soon.
No, I'm just kidding. That Verizon union. I'm ready to go get a new phone. You know, it's,
Is your carrier Verizon?
yeah.
Because there's one guy who sends me texts, and they don't come for like 15 minutes. It
Really?
comes to my phone instantly.
From Verizon?
No, I think, I want to ask him who's carrier. I don't want to say,
I've never had a
I don't
problem.
want to take a guess, but some of my friends who have converted away from Verizon are belly aching that you're not getting my texts. I says, I don't know where they go. And when they show you they sent me texts, it's puzzling. So I got to find out where this guy's texting from. But thank you, Eric Gitchie, for calling in today. Good city councilor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it, Tom. The election's Dracut. We got Tony Archinski coming in here, right?
Yep.
Your elections are coming up. You
Yep,
got a few
and
people.
I was just checking to make sure it's February 3rd, papers come out. The election is the first Saturday in May. We got the school committeemen up, Selectman, Housing Authority, I'm sure library trustee, those types of things, you know, so. I don't know, Tony, if maybe he'll try to give us more insight today if he's going to run for re-election. I don't know if he's going to, you know. But I'm sure there'll be the same candidate. I'm sure I'm hearing the same two candidates that ran last year, Mr. Plummer and Mr. Martin will be running again. So maybe Tony has more insight when he gets here at 7 o'clock, you know.
Yeah, I
But,
think we
have
have.
you heard any more names in Lowell running for office? Have you heard
No,
any?
but when Corey Belanger, that issue there we had when he had an open seat and
Yeah.
city council appointed Corey Belanger, there was quite a few names that come out in the Belvedere section, and you know, we've only been a couple of years into this redistricting. And when people start to see that, you have a much better chance, you know, than trying to win citywide.
Yeah.
Citywide, that would be the only thing right now that's holding me back, is to decide what you want to run in your district or do you want to run in citywide.
Bob, you
And
want to read this one, please?
Mr. Gitchia is correct. There are leaders and cheerleaders in government. Massachusetts has a lot more cheerleaders. Yeah, it's an incredible state. I don't know how we get away with what we do, but the state just keeps rolling along. You know, it's
Well, I'm waiting, I can hardly wait until they arrest the governor. When Trump gets in, and she's already told the state police, do not help any of these immigration people. That's my takeaway. I'm not quoting her. That's my takeaway from the communications I saw on television, that she's told the authorities, don't help the immigration officials. And I think that Trump will get her arrested.
Yeah, and I look at, to me, there's a lot of issues, but the number one thing, we talk homeless all the time, it's where do people live? How can you afford? I mean, I'm thinking, you know, do you go one-bedroom apartments over $2,000? Two-bedroom apartments,
Wow.
25 to 2,600?
Bobby, and
It's
I keep
unbelievable.
hounding about this, okay? We gotta teach personal finance.
Yeah,
You don't know S from Shinola about money.
Of course.
I found out the hard way. Tommy, where did you learn how to be wealthy?
How to do like finances and everything?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, when my ex-wife handled all that, when I got divorced, I learned it on my own. I just, you know, just had a.
You learn the hard way.
Yeah, yeah.
And Bill Johnson, UMass Lowell professor, he's coming on Monday with Cliff. Love talking to that guy. It's a learnable skill. It's not hard. It's a learnable skill. We should teach personal finance in every grade.
yeah, there's
John,
no
we
doubt
talk
about
this,
it, but you
we
think
talk
that's
about
gonna?
this every week, but it's not. What is the school committee doing? The school committee must hear us talking about this.
Well,
I mean,
Rebecca Doodle likes the idea. I talked to Rebecca once. She comes to Monday Night Dinner Club.
we'll see if Dracut institutes it.
Who don't like the idea? It's a great idea. There's no doubt about it.
Teach our kids
But
to be rich, and everybody will love them. Everybody loves a rich guy.
Yeah.
we're number 3, I'm pretty sure, this state on the price of a house.
Tommy, when did you say Selectman open? When's the Selectman race? April?
Papers come out February 3rd.
Yeah.
I believe the election's the first Saturday in May.
Okay.
That's usually the case, the first Saturday in May.
Because Evelyn Thorne is, we're going to chatter about this when she comes, trying to get new selectmen in Chelmsford, new selectmen in Dracut, new selectmen in Tewksbury.
Yeah.
A younger crowd.
Yeah.
And sure, we have good selectmen seated as well, but we're all getting older, so
Yeah.
it's time to
That's
ask.
what I'm saying, Tony. I don't know if Tony will run again. I mean, well, maybe he'll give us insight today, or maybe he'll just,
True. Good
maybe he'll get. I don't
I'm
know.
just doing homework for
The
him.
last time I talked to him, it sounded like he wasn't, but I'm not gonna. We'll see what he says when he gets here. You know.
In my future, I'm looking at about 150, 160,000 people living in Lowell. We're going to see condos, mini houses, additions. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
We're not. I'm pretty sure that Massachusetts is number 3 as far as houses. It's Hawaii, California, and I think it's Mass. I think we're like 5. The average house is somewhere between $500,000 and $700,000. How do people pay this rent, though? By the way, how do you pay $2,300 a month living
Yeah.
in an apartment
Yeah.
with a car payment and everything else?
And that's an apartment. Your mortgage.
But I don't care where you go. If you want to pay $1,600 to $1,800, you're going to have cockroaches.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And Lowell's building a lot of different places. I've been watching it. It's unreal. Growth is everywhere.
Tommy, you want to read this one? It's big.
Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox said the department refused to act on all 15 civil immigration detainment requests submitted by the federal authorities last year, citing a city law that shields non-citizens from deportation under certain circumstances. That's out of the Boston Herald.
You
Thank you
think?
for your comment.
Do you think we have any illegal immigrants in Lowell?
Sure we do.
Yeah.
They're down at the UMass Senate Conference.
Now, did you see
We
what
just
she
got a
wants
few?
to?
That's
The
my
governor
takeaway.
wants to.
Of course.
The governor wants a full inspection of all state run shelters.
What's a full inspection?
I don't know.
Is
I
that
don't-
from, did they
yeah.
take a look at the building from the outside?
Well,
Is
make
that a
sure
full
Well,
they-
this is all
inspection?
related to the fentanyl. Somebody guess was found with fentanyl in one of the.
And so you'll have some free lawyer from the LMNOP lawyer group that's going to defend them. You have no right to go look at their personal property without a search warrant.
Go talk to the people that run this shelter down here. Ask them what their biggest issue is. Violence.
Well, where is our state shelter?
That's why the homeless don't want to go.
Yeah,
anymore.
violence. They come in
This
from
is not-
Boston
this
and
is-
start to bully people.
The Lowell shelter on Middlesex Street is a privately owned institution. And on television, they're only going to inspect state homeless shelters. Where is the homeless shelter in this region? Where is it? Anybody know where the state homeless shelter
Well, I
is?
thought it was UMass. That's the Inn and Conference Centers. That's not run by the state. That's why I said that.
That's,
No?
that is for migrants that we flew up here with
Tony
taxpayer.
Archinski.
Oh, answer,
Oh.
he's at the door. Just answer, tell him I'll
right.
I'll be right there. I'll stop
We'll
talking.
be able to get you in a minute. Bye-bye.
But it's a big issue, Tom, in this state. It's about
It's good.
affordability for people, housing. It's the issue's getting bigger and bigger because how much can they keep going up on rent?
Right.
It's just going to force more people to the streets.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's it's just amazing.
Even though we're getting old, Tom, you and I, we're pretty lucky. We
Oh, yeah?
we lived the best part of this country so far.
Yep, I don't want to know what our grandkids are going to see 15, 20 years from now.
I'm starting to feel like there's hope. I finally feel like there's hope. I didn't feel like there was any hope before the election. If
see
if
what
she
Trump
ever
does.
won,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
We'll see
I would
what
say
Trump
we're
does in
done.
the next 4 years, and then we got to see what who's after him. You know, because I'm sure they're going to be out there already sniffing around for that seat for the presidential election in 2028. So it's going to be very interesting, you know.
Yeah, they're not going to make it easy for them, though. But I just see there's finally some hope.
Yeah.
I thought we were in trouble.
Yeah.
And now we'll see. I could be wrong. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping we're not.
Heck is that?
Who's
What
that?
that is? That's over his area over there.
Yeah.
So-
Now, for New Year's, what'd you do? Stay home? I did.
Instead, we went out for right down the street from us, the Sports Zone, which is in the tennis plaza. We were out at 6, in and home at 8, and I was at bed at 9, I think. What about you?
Stayed at home. I watched the Nashville New Year's Eve. That Jelly Roll guy there, the
yeah,
singer.
yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not a country fan. I'm a rock and roll fan,
Yeah.
right? But that Jelly Roll, he's something special. Something's going on over there, John.
See. Oh,
I think his phone fell down.
oh, it's an alarm.
Well, here we go.
I hit snooze. It was an alarm.
We gotta go to break.
There was an alarm going on. I hit snooze.
That means we go to break. Thanks.
Tony, what about? New Year.
Good morning. How you doing, Tony?
Oh, we should, well, we missed the break, so that's okay. We're gonna schmooze, we're gonna go to break,
All right.
and we'll be back, thanks.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 7th edition of City Life. With us this morning is my co-host, Bob Hoey, who is here every week with me, former school committeeman, probably future school committeeman, Selectman Tony Archinski.
Good morning, Tom.
Our friend Ned Tarmey is out ill today. He's under the weather, so hopefully we have him back next year. And I'm Tom Bomil from the town of Dracut, and Happy New Year, everybody. It's our first show of the new year, right, Bob?
Yeah.
So, we're
Yeah,
just,
Happy New Year to everybody here.
So before you walked in, Tony, we were talking about the Dracut election, so we'll just get right to it. Are you running for re-election?
Oh, boy, you guys
We're gonna shoot
you're
right
coming
to it.
out swinging,
We're
huh?
talking about, are you running for re-election?
Well, I guess I'm not going to answer that with a question, but are you running for re-election?
I'm leaning towards not, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
okay.
Yeah, I'm right up front with you, but I'm not counting it out, but, you know, the
Well,
priorities.
you know what, I kind of know how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this for 12 years, and I really thought that I would take the break from Christmas to New Year's to kind of think about where I want to go from here, you know, after 12 years. And believe it or not, I know you won't believe this, Bob, but believe it or not, after 12 years of being a politician, I still don't see myself as a politician. I
Right,
see
right.
myself as a volunteer, somebody who loves the town, that just wants to do my share. So So after 12 years, I thought that it would be a pretty easy decision. I'm going to make up my mind by January 1st, and
Yeah.
I'll announce, and then let the chips fall as they may, and people can get involved in all that. But the decision is coming harder than I thought. There's it's become such a part of me. I mean, it's who I am after 12 years.
Right.
There are still things that that I'd like to accomplish.
you enjoy it?
Dracut. I do enjoy it.
Yep.
Some things I enjoy, some things I don't. But the bottom line is I just don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a little while. I want to see what my relationship with the new town manager is going to be. That will have a lot to do with it. But basically, I think I still have another 6 weeks or 8 weeks to make
Papers
up my
come
mind.
out. Papers come out. I looked it up before you came in. February 3rd. We have until I believe right around St. Patrick's Day to file them. I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to see how I feel at the time. I said I'm going to make some cutbacks, and I did. I stepped down from the Salvation Army Advisory Board last Friday.
I see.
I just
Thank you for your service, Tom.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm just
Yeah,
trying
thank
to
you.
do some cutbacks, and but yeah, I'm going to see myself. One day, like I say, wake up in the morning, I'm going. Next day, I wake up, I'm done.
That's
So,
exactly.
like I
Yeah.
said, we have the time.
And as you can see from looking at the monitor, we're not getting any younger. I mean, look at
Except
us.
Hoey.
Look at us. I've seen
Just a
younger
little
faces
gel,
on money.
little gel.
But
I'm going to blow through these two texts just because
was-
I got to fix the monitor. Tom Holman, I don't know who he is, doesn't care about the governors in these states. He's going to get the job done. The newcomers don't belong here, period. Oh, Tom Holman, he must be Trump's guy that's going to take care of immigration. And then Jelly Roll, I think that means President Biden. Jelly Roll get talent, but you want him dating your daughter?
Absolutely, he's a billionaire.
No, but,
money isn't everything.
music's always been a big part of my life, and when I heard him New Year's Eve, I just thought
Bob,
his music's coming from his heart, and he's lived a pretty tough life.
I watched American Idol, and he was on there last year as not a judge, but I forget, he was a mentor or something. He was fantastic. I never knew of him until last year at American Idol. So one of the rumors was going around town, I don't know if you had heard it in Dracut, that Allison Volpe was thinking of running for selectman, but I guess she has since announced she is running for re-election to the school
Yes,
committee.
yeah,
I don't know if you heard that
Yeah,
rumor.
well,
Yeah.
of course, I hear
Yeah.
all the rumors.
Yeah.
and quite frankly, that's exactly what they are, is rumors.
Sure,
So,
sure.
yeah, I guess she's going to go again for school committee.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with her. We've
Yeah.
been friends over the years. We've worked together. We've collaborated on school department issues and things like that. So I wish her well.
Yeah.
But you talk about getting older. At my age, another 3 years, and that's the thing. If it were to campaign.
What is your age, Tony?
I'm 71 years old.
Okay.
And, if it were the campaign, I could do the campaign. If it were a year, I could do the year. But now you're talking a 3-year commitment, and I kid people. I say, they're going to start calling me Dougie Roulette before it's over with. Dougie was the oldest selectman in the history of the town.
28 years, I forget what the number is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think his last
But
term
Tony,
was like 85.
quite frankly, we need the wisdom. Quite frankly,
Right,
if
yeah.
and it's a double-edged sword when you say, "Well, I'm thinking I might not run." Now you're a lame duck.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so as soon as you tell them
Yeah,
that, administration goes like, "Don't worry about Archinski, he's gone."
yeah, for
As soon
sure.
as you say that, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah, well, I've been
I'm
telling.
troubled by making a decision myself.
Well, I do. And I tell people, I'm about 80% there. I'm about 80% that I'm going to run for reelection, but that 80% is down from 100%. So,
Yeah.
I have the same pull and tug as you do, Tom.
My question would be for you, Tony, is when you sit on the show, I'm on here Thursday with people from Chelmsford, obviously, and I'm getting vibes from Jay Lang and them that money's going to be the issue this year. It's going to be some cuts coming in every budget. That's the vibe I'm getting. Lowell had a ton of extra money, and we spent pretty much all of it, probably, and I'm just seeing some cuts coming, so I think we all have to
Right,
Just
yeah, and-
beware.
And I agree, Bob. I don't think it's going to be an easy year, but, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So, I'm not afraid to roll my sleeves up and get to work with the town manager.
Starts next Monday, right?
Yeah, she starts next week, and she's got, a very, very big task ahead of her. First she has to, familiarize herself and interject her own budgetary measures, and then she has to see exactly where we are. I do not have a good feel of where we are financially with the town of Dracut. As you know, Ann left, and then Victor left shortly thereafter, and we appointed Allison, who's not, who's a great employee, but not really a
Finance person.
Yeah, not a finance person.
Well, neither was the guy that was the temporary guy, wasn't a finance person, was
Right,
it? Hanley?
yeah, exactly. So
You gotta see what she
So we're
goes,
at
yeah.
the point where.
She'll have a honeymoon. Every town manager has a
I can tell you
honeymoon.
right now, her honeymoon's only going to be about a week.
Tony,
Because
Tony,
Just drink it.
she's got a lot to do.
Brian Genest, he wrote in a column in Tommy Duggan's newspaper, I believe.
Yeah.
Tony is a threat
Right.
to public safety. Do you have any feedback you want to give, or you just want to turn the page on that?
Well, I'm torn between, answering some of these frivolous things, that this guy writes about me. He always seems to gear up. I mean, the last time that he had issues with me was, and I know you're not going to believe this, but it was like 3 years ago when I was up for re-election, and he, had people going and doing all kinds of FOIAs and really just,
remember that, yeah.
again, almost to the point of harassment. And the end result of all of the crap
Investigation,
that he threw against the wall was that I topped the ticket and I won every precinct.
So it was helpful.
If Brian Genest wants to start, go for it, go for it. But I don't want to give somebody that really has no impact on the Dracut voters any more time than he deserves. I think, he has like a fake counter on his TV show that, clicks every second. And when you look at it, you think 15,000 people watch the show, where in reality, 6 people watch it. And you can see the results of that just by looking at the last time I
Look
ran.
at the whole thing
Okay, we're
last year.
going
Look
on
at
to
the
the
whole
next
thing
thing
last
here. Who doesn't like a jelly roll? What do the donuts look like this morning? We don't have any donuts today.
Yeah, New Year's
Well,
resolution.
if I can,
You can do anything you want, Tony.
if I can just, weigh in on that, I honestly think that Top Donut has the best jelly rolls in the world. I think he actually invented them. And as you know, if you've ever had a jelly roll, you have to know how to eat it. You have to cut it in the middle and then eat from the middle out.
Oh, no,
And-
I eat it like an egg roll. I start at one end.
That's like a jelly. It's almost like a cruller, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it's
but
filled with jelly.
What's his name doesn't make those, I don't think. Eric up at the.
I don't think so.
No,
You
either.
can't
no,
compete
they are
with,
good.
on that, you can't compete with Top Donut on that one.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
you
oh,
gotta
no,
stay with
yeah,
Top Donut for
yeah,
the jelly rolls,
yeah.
yeah.
But no, even going back to Brian and the issue we had last year with, was it election day or the day before the election with the sign holding,
Yeah.
and that stuff is, and that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of getting out. That
Yeah.
stuff is BS,
Yeah,
not
he's
necessary.
kind of, he's kind of creepy.
That was the
you
best
know.
thing I seen in that last election, was John Zimini, and I think John has it too.
Well,
Yeah.
you
Remember
know
the
what,
picture? You remember the time?
well,
Tom,
you know, it's
remember that?
funny that you bring that up, because, I'm sorry, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, Bob, but with my police and my military training, if somebody charged me like that, the next thing you'd see on that video is him looking for his teeth on the driveway. I mean, you got somebody charging you like that. I thought Zimney showed great restraint, when
He was a hockey coach, right?
when this guy
They
started
had-
charging
yeah,
him. Yeah, but you know what, luckily, the world's not filled with people like Brian Genest, and thank God, we
Yeah.
in my close circle, we call him Nowhere Man, because he really, he's a nobody, and he just,
Put your name on the ballot.
Yeah,
yeah.
in Lowell, we just usually give a guy like that a job. That's what they usually, well, they do.
Yeah, well,
I
you know
won't say
what?
the names, but
Well,
they
you know what,
usually do.
he probably could use a job. I won't say anymore. Anyway,
So yeah, so we
I got two, Tony, I got two comments here. And it says, welcome, Tony. Either way you go, run or not run, you've been fair and honest with the people in Dracut.
well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So we
Next,
got
next one is
Okay.
back to shenanigans. Any
Any
donut
donut.
is a good donut.
so we got a selectman's race, not a race. We'll have a selectman up for re-election, a selectman's race, a school committee race, housing authority race, usually a library trustee race. There's nothing else. No questions on the ballot. Do you know of any questions on the ballot? No.
No,
No.
and it's funny because, every election, now they start mapping out, well, if Archinski doesn't run, then who's gonna run? And what side can get more
Well,
votes?
Tony,
for
what
it?
percentage vote in Dracut? Did like 50%?
not a lot.
20%
Last
vote?
year we had an election. It was very low.
Yeah, I think it was like 11%.
So if you put something on like, we're gonna have, we're not gonna pick up your trash anymore.
Oh, yeah. You get
Do you want us to
people
pick up your trash, yes or no? Put that question on the
out. Oh,
ballot.
sure, yeah. Yeah, well, that's usually what boosts, town meetings as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But
Watch next town meeting. You had a big town meeting this time because of two big issues. Next
Right.
town meeting, if there's no issues, there'll be nobody there. So it's always been going on
Do
for
you
years.
guys, now, I'm understanding Dracut, do you guys have electronic clickers?
It just started.
Yes.
Now, why can't I chime in remotely? So I'm home watching Dracut Access, watching a town meeting. Why can't I vote over my phone?
I want to say that the technology at this point is probably Bluetooth, so that you have to be in the room and be hooked into their network, so that it can be also controlled. I mean, you don't want somebody from Russia voting on whether the Dracut town meeting is
Well-
going to go to MBTA or not.
I don't think the Russians are chiming in. I think people, how would you, I would just tell Gary Muse, just put it on Comcast, don't put it on YouTube. And then you can't watch Dracut Access Television on any place but Comcast.
Well, I can tell you that I was very impressed with it. Were you, Tom?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
with the electronic voting, they showed the screen.
It was a lot quieter.
There were a couple of hiccups, only because it was new. I think that, people should have been given longer to vote. Okay, we're gonna vote, you have 30 seconds, and, Aunt Mary's talking to her daughter and not realizing that she's only got 5 seconds left, boom, vote's closed, this is the vote, and it gives you instant results. But nobody knows whether Aunt Mary was paying attention or not.
But is that addressed? Is that announced in the, do they say
Yeah.
like balloting stops in 1 minute?
Yeah,
Do say-
they said you have,
Yeah.
whatever it was, 30 seconds or a minute.
Sure, sure.
Well,
that's that.
furthermore, about
So
people
I didn't
sitting
see
at
any
home.
reason why they couldn't go 5 minutes, to vote. Okay, we're going to vote on this article, you have 5 minutes, and then show a clock that's ticking down. That way, if somebody's in the men's room,
Yeah.
somebody's not paying attention, they can vote. But other than that, I thought it was
But
super.
it seemed a lot quieter too.
Yeah, it was
And
a lot
the
quieter.
hollering and
Nobody knows how you voted, and, the clicker, once you voted, I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
No, you could vote, or you could change your vote
Within
during
that
that, during that
period.
time.
Yeah,
frame.
when that minute
So you
period,
could vote yes or no, or both, but whatever it was, when that clicker stopped, that's what you were voting. So it was
Moving
pretty
forward,
easily
Tony, I
understood.
would like you guys to just look into, okay, I could register my cell phone number with you guys, so you guys know, I'm not a Dracuteer, okay? But a Dracuteer could register their cell phone number, be at home, watching it on Dracut Access Television, and vote from home. I don't understand, I'd like you guys to at least consider that, because.
Has Lowell
the
done
town-
that, John, do you know?
The town,
No.
Lowell doesn't care. Lowell's all about getting a good job.
Drake.
So why should Dracut do it?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm happy with the way we've progressed with the technology, as it is, and maybe in the future, of course.
Well, how are you doing with your quorum out there?
Well, we definitely had the quorum the last time.
Because there were two big issues, and that's why.
So you have to
And,
put the,
and,
pick up
there
the
have
tra-
been, John, there have been efforts to reduce the quorum, and people don't want to reduce the quorum
Now,
because
the
if you-
quorum, just so you know, that's the amount of people you have to have so you can have a meeting.
Yeah.
If you don't have, how many people you gotta have?
I think the fall town meeting is 250?
And I thought the June was 250 and the fall's
Right.
225.
Right, yeah, somewhere around there.
So if you don't have 200 people in the building,
Right.
everybody goes home.
Yes, exactly. So that sometime is a pain. People can call for a quorum count anytime during the meeting. So that, with the clickers now, now you know exactly how many people are in the room, because now you're going to click and it's going to tell you what the total is. But there have been people that have said, well, why have a quorum at all? And the answer to that is because that's when special interests get their people in. Now, you don't even need 200 people for a special interest. You only need the majority, 20 people, if only 20 people show up, so.
The town of Andover does not have a quorum in every town meeting, no matter what. They get 200 or 300 people at their town
Right.
meetings. I
Right,
mean,
but who are they? Are they
Well, I don't
there
know.
for special interest?
You-
But no,
guys
but
are-
there's not always, like I said,
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
not a controversial issue on
Yeah.
the agenda, or the warrant, whatever you want.
Right.
But it's not, I can't see that every town meeting in Andover has a controversial issue, you know what I mean? So,
Well, Dracut, I've noticed in the past few years, Dracut tried to go to Saturdays, right, to get people out to vote? Wasn't that just a few years back?
no, we have people, we vote on Saturday now, right?
Yeah.
No, but I'm
that's
saying,
permanent.
it just, a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
right?
it just started at the
Yeah.
quorum, I think it started at the pandemic, right?
Yeah, you know what,
Yeah.
Tom, I saw the notice for the upcoming May election. I didn't even notice, what the day was, whether it was
I have it on my phone
whether
right
it was
now,
a
yeah.
Saturday or not, but,
Then the election you had with Martin and Josh Taylor,
Yeah.
that election there, that seemed to bring a few more people out.
oh, yeah.
So if
sure.
you get the right candidates to come out, that
Right.
normally would increase.
Yeah.
The vote.
I mean, I can tell you, every time I've run, I've always run against 5 people for two slots, and, some people get a nice buy, nobody's running against, it's like, what bus did I get on here? Because I have to fight every time. But again, I think, if you're doing your job, and if you're fair, and if you listen to people's concerns, you'll get reelected.
Saturday, May 3rd, 2025.
Okay, so we are going.
Selectmen, 2 selectmen up for reelection, 3-year term. Selectmen, school committee, 2 school committee people, 3-year term. Trustee for the Housing Public Library, 2-year term. 2 up for reelection. Moderator and Dracut Housing Authority. So
Right,
that's it.
so that's you at the Housing
Yeah,
Authority?
that's it. Yeah, we only have one. And Matt Sheehan is the state appointment. He doesn't know where he stands now, because obviously there's a new governor.
Yeah.
That's her call. I don't know how that works. I don't know how the process works, because I think he was appointed by, must have been, who was the former governor?
Yeah.
Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a
Right,
Republican
holdover, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you'd probably be looking at that slot being changed as well.
And we have big thing coming up this year. That's why don't know, because Mary's leaving, so we're going to be hiring a new executive director. I don't think we have to look too far for a new executive director, but that's another issue that,
Who are you thinking?
Well, her assistant, who has been her assistant for at
The
least
assistant's
15.
name?
Kelly Samansky. There you go.
Kelly Samansky. So
Yeah.
she's a good candidate for the job?
I think so.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart,
If
because
somebody's qualified, I always say hire within, if they're qualified, I've always said that,
because this gal, wasn't she the assistant before? There was a big brouhaha.
No, she was in Lowell before, right, Mary? Tony, was Mary?
Yeah,
in Lowell?
well, Mary, she wasn't the director in Lowell, she was, she did work, she came from the Lowell Housing Authority to be the director.
Yeah, she's been there about, what?
done a
15
great
Before
job.
my time, I'll tell you
Well, so
that.
it's 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Done a great, she's had a lot of speed bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, she replaced Tully. I don't think it was at the Tully, were they?
Yeah,
There might have been an
Tully
acting
Jr.,
one.
Joe Tully
That's what I'm
Jr.,
saying.
yeah.
There might have been an acting one in between.
So happy
one.
retirement.
Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I always tell everybody with a pension, the winner is the one who collects the most checks.
Hey, speaking of pension, weren't you
Yeah.
happy to hear
Wow.
about the Web Bob?
Social Security, oh
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I've been
been pushing that
I've
for a
been
long
watching
time.
that for 10 years.
I know you've been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah. And,
So Tony,
yeah.
what does this mean for people? Are they gonna get $1,000 a
Okay.
month? They're gonna get $200
All right,
a month?
so
What are your
basically,
thoughts?
what happened is, we're police officers, we're school teachers, we're DPW workers, we're government workers, but we may have also worked in the private sector. So I'll use myself as an example. When I was a kid, I worked at the Giant store. I worked at, different restaurants as a dishwasher. I went in the military, I paid Social Security for 3 years when I was in the military. And I did odd jobs. I bartended here, and I did this, that, and the other thing. Then I became a police officer, and I spent 30 years in a public pensionable system, not paying into Social Security. Now, I retire from my public job, and I get a job working for the union. I've been working for the union for 17 years, paying into Social Security. Because I draw a public pension, the government said, you can only have 40% of your Social Security. So if you and I both put the same amount of money into Social Security, and you never worked in a public job, you'd get 60% more than I do. So it's an inequity. It's an inequity that we've been trying to, right for the last 40 years. Now, I've only been on Social Security for like 6 years, but it's significant.
So right now you're getting 40%. So if you take, so just for the sake of conversation.
Yeah,
If you get $400 a month, using your math, you're now going to get $1,000 a month.
yes. Yeah,
Understood.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
It's
Now,
huge.
I've been paying taxes my whole life. Can I get a public pension?
Only
I'm just kidding you.
Only if you pay into it.
I
And,
did.
you know,
I paid for your pension with my taxes.
And for years and years and years, people accused us of being double dippers, but actually, we weren't double dippers. We were double contributors, is what we were. We were contributing to two different retirement systems, and the.
Tony, I give, the same argument, being in the funeral business, okay? You got these people, 32 years old, and, they're 61 years old, never got a dime out of their pension. What does Social Security give? $255. That's all we're gonna give you. But you paid in $1 bazillion, and you're 61 years old. All they pay is $255.
Right,
And so it hasn't been fair for a long time.
Yeah, and I've talked to some cops and corrections officers and, things like, oh, we're going to get Social Security. Well, no, you're not going to get Social Security unless you've earned it.
Right,
You
right.
still need to get your 40 quarters, which is 10 years. You
But I
still
like
have to
the
work
math,
10 years.
math that we demonstrated together here, that if you're getting $400 right now,
Yeah.
you're on Social Security, you work for the state, you're getting $400 now, that's 40%.
Yes,
You're gonna get 100% now. So now instead of that 400,
yep,
you're not gonna get 1,400, you're gonna get 1,000.
right.
Your check's gonna be 1,000.
Right, and it's huge. I mean, it's huge. Think about school teachers, John. Now, school teachers,
Tony,
weren't always wonderfully paid.
It just means we're
Okay.
going on another cruise. That's what my wife's gonna,
Well,
we're going on
a lot
another
of
cruise.
a lot of school teachers work their entire careers, during the summer, paying into Social Security.
Yeah.
They didn't want any more than what they got. They only wanted what they are entitled to under anyone else that contributed the same amount of money.
Tony, I'm 100% with it. I think it's great. It's about time they did
It's
it.
also going to be retroactive until next January.
Oh,
So
Wow.
being retroactive, okay, using your $400.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sean's
what-
getting the math right.
Well, I mean, it helps everybody understand.
Yeah, it's about $5,000. $5,000 retro check.
You're gonna get a check for $5,000.
Right, because, by your math. And the
It goes
thing
back
is.
2 years, or how many years you're gonna go
Well,
back?
here's what happened, every year for the last 40 years, this has come up, but it's never been voted on, so it finally made the hurdle, and Congress voted on it.
President Biden signed.
But this was a two-year congressional timeline. So this came in before the first year of this Congress.
Right.
And it wasn't passed until the last year of this Congress. And the verbiage said, as of January 1st, 2024, you'll receive this benefit.
So it's gonna pay you for the last, just to 24, so you're gonna get a check for $12,000.
Yeah, about.
the hardest person
We're going on 2 cruises.
the hardest working person, as far as a prison guard is concerned, is out of Dracut. His name's Chuck Slyman.
Oh, sure. Oh,
He worked his brains off of that,
Oh.
and Vietnam vet also, and he fights for the veterans all the time.
yes,
But
yeah.
he was a lieutenant of mine, great guy, and no one
Oh,
outworked
I
him.
can't even tell you
Nobody.
how, Bob, I can't tell you how many emails I get from
Oh,
him, how
he
many
worked
messages. Yeah, and I see him, we both got our Vietnam
Okay,
pin, from Laurie Trahan, and that's where I first met him in person.
Super guy, super
Yeah,
guy.
good guy, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's thrilled. I haven't
You know,
sent him a message. but-
When do you think we'll see this check, the first bonus check?
Well, that's a
paycheck?
good question. I know that I am identified as a person who is penalized by WEP, so in my mind, undo that little button and say I'm not penalized anymore. That's how easy it is to me, but who knows, there's
First check on what? Oh, you mean?
I'm talking Social Security.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I heard that we-
They're talking March, I think, right?
Okay, but it depends on when your birthday is and all that stuff. It's like, there's a form. I thought
Well,
it was
well, for
happening in
people-
January, I heard, but
well,
you're saying March?
Well, for people that are currently on Social Security, they're gonna have to recompute what your monthly benefit is, and then also recompute what your retroactive pay is. I don't know how quick the Social Security system can do that. It's, it's about, I thought they said 3 million people that are involved.
Well, my little visit to the Lowell Senior Center, I got people griping to me that Medicaid just grabbed $100 out of their check every month.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
This'll be
It
a
seems
one-
like every time you get a raise, they
Yeah.
raise Medicare.
yeah. So they're belly aching about that, so.
that's when you really feel like you're getting beat or ripped off, is when you have to sign up for Medicare
Yeah.
at 65, and then they want a check off you. It's like, how about, I said, I'm insured from the prison job that I had, through my pension, doesn't matter.
Well, although, the good side of that coin is, as you guys know, I'm a cancer patient. I was diagnosed with leukemia 10 years ago. So I'm always down at Mass General, and when you see a specialist, it's a $60 copay. Well,
Yeah.
now that I'm on Medicare, it's a $10 copay. So for someone like me that goes to the doctor a lot, eventually I'll make up for it. I'll get them back.
I'm heading down to Brigham Women's today, so I'm always down there too with my wife, and, thank God we have those hospitals, though.
Oh.
Dana-Farber, oh my God,
For
the
sure,
people,
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I originally went to Dana-Farber for my diagnosis, and then I had a blood doctor that was at Mass General, and I switched over to Mass General. My oncologist is now at Mass General, and it's one of the best hospitals in the world. I mean, really, and Dana-Farber as well.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
hear it. I mean, I remember a friend of mine his son was down in Mass General. This is 15, 20 years ago. And his son had some semi-major surgery. He was like 7, 8, 9 years old at the time. And he said he was in a room and there was like some prince or something from some foreign country
Oh,
that
sure.
his son,
Oh, yeah,
that was in
yeah.
Mass General with his son. That it's amazing how it's
know-
a well-known hospital throughout the world,
It's
So.
a good time for me to mention it. January 25th, at noontime, they're having that Keefe family polar plunge.
Yep.
And a lot of policemen, I know Jerry Flynn, and I seen a lot of policemen involved in it last year too, so.
Jerry just got a promotion, huh?
Well, once again, that's
Isn't
only
he-
if you
isn't he-
believe rumors that are on Facebook.
But isn't Jerry,
Well, if it's on Facebook, it's got to be true, right? That's what they
Yeah,
say.
for sure, yeah. No,
yeah, you
Jerry
can't
just retired.
complain as far as like Paul George is for teachers. Jerry's fought for the police for a
Oh,
long
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
long
But
time.
he's definitely stepped down from that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he has retired. He retired.
I know he's
on
had some
the
a
31st.
little, not a semi-health issue that's just
Yeah.
He
happened
looked
with
good
him.
last time I seen him.
Oh, yeah.
Lost a lot of weight. and-
Oh,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So you don't know if that's true or not about his promotion?
No, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if Jerry would take it if it was offered.
Right.
We're all getting older now. We
Yeah.
need to slow down a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
you
I
know?
was saying about the cutting back on things. I mean, I got the Bridge Club, I got the Housing Authority, I got the Board of Health now I'm on. I stepped down I got the LRTA, I stepped down from I had 5 things going for me,
Oh,
Salvation
yeah.
Army,
Yeah,
so
and
it's-
my wife has already told me, you volunteer for one more thing, we're gonna have a long talk.
Yeah.
And there are things that I'd like to do also. I mean, when I retire, I'd like to, I'd like to spend a little bit more time at the American Legion, with the veterans. I'm a veteran, and sometimes, Bob, I'm afraid to go to a meeting because it's like everything else. Oh, we need someone to do this. You're a good guy for that, and now,
Yeah, they volunteer.
now you're overextended, and the next thing you know, you're the post commander and things like that. But
Now, you're
but I
thinking of
do want to
stepping
get
down
back.
from the police thing, or are you going to stay there?
Well, again, everything is kind of up in the
Yeah,
air.
because you say you'll always keep busy, no matter what.
Oh, yeah. And
And
the
life's
other-
too short.
Yeah.
You're dead around for a long
Yeah,
time.
and then the other thing is I'd like to spend a little more time in AA. I'm a reformed alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sober for 31 years, so I'd like to give back a little bit to that as well. So, there's still plans, even though, things change.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got two texts here, I'm gonna say, you are correct, John. Can I get a $10,000 check for paying the taxes that fund the pension system? Absolutely not. When the town has extra money, you never get it back. So if that's the government for you. The government's here to help the government. The government's not here to help you.
You know, when they say we
I
pay.
got one more. I got
Go
this
ahead.
one's for Tony. It's pretty serious stuff. Is the state planning to widen Route 113 from the post office out to the Methuen line? Can you speak to that, Tony?
Well, if they are, they certainly haven't told me about it.
I haven't heard anything about that.
No, they are planning on resurfacing Route 110.
But nothing on 113 that you know of?
Nothing that I know of
Okay,
on
thanks.
113.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you talk about pensions, I love when people say, you pay into your own pension, which we all did.
Sure.
Matters what percentage you paid in.
Yep.
But I know I've been retired 15 years, and I already sucked every dime I ever put in. And that's why I say whoever, but you got to remember the pensions that I'm talking about, trying to be a prison guard, be a policeman, be a teacher, be a fireman, walk into a fire. A lot of those jobs aren't as easy as people believe.
No, for sure.
They take a lot of toll on someone's physical and mental capacities. It does damage to us.
Sure, plus the hours, Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I started off as a patrolman and I was on late nights. Well, I don't care what anybody says, that's not a normal time to be up. You go to work at midnight and get out at 8 o'clock in the morning. And, so I did that for 3 years, and I got promoted to sergeant, went back up to late nights, got promoted to lieutenant, back up to late nights. So I spent 9 years on late nights, and I never wanted to spend one shift on late nights. So that's 9 years of my life where I didn't know whether to come home and go to bed, come home, stay up, wait until noontime, go to bed at 4,
I know a nurse that did that. She said to me, she got in such the habit, when she finally got on days, she didn't know how to, it was like adjusting your whole lifestyle, because you were going to bed like at 3 in the afternoon.
Oh,
4 a.m.
sure, yeah.
It's like-
I can
it's-
honestly say, I worked a lot when I was doing the job. And I think I spent most of my life exhausted. I mean, just tired. And,
Well, Tony, yesterday, I was interesting you bring this up. I was watching a video of a cop, 2 o'clock in the morning, down, I think, in Oklahoma. He's trying to pull over an 18-wheeler. And it's on a road like 110. So he's chasing the 18-wheeler down, and he doesn't want to stop. So he's calling for his colleagues, okay, I'm chasing this 18-wheeler. The 18-wheeler stops. He rolls up to the back of the 18-wheeler, and the 18-wheeler reverses and tries to run the cruiser over. Now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. This
God.
cop's all by his onesies. And luckily, he wasn't getting, because the next thing you do is, okay, he stops, you get out of your car. Now, if the truck driver had waited another 30 seconds for the cop to get out of the car, he could have crushed the cruiser and took off.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, you're all by your onesies. It takes a
It worked
courageous
out okay,
guy
but did you watch the whole video?
work that shift.
Did it work out okay? Did you watch the whole video? Did
The
he?
18-wheeler took off, he chased the 18-wheeler again, and
No.
then the 18-wheeler eventually caught on fire.
Oh,
wow.
I had,
too
my
bad.
mother's brothers were cops, retired from Lowell. The last name was Newell, Jack Newell, Dennis
Sure,
Newell. Dennis
yeah.
Newell's still alive. And the younger cops that I meet along the way, they always said that my Uncle Dennis was the best cop that could teach you about domestic issues. And it might be the toughest issue a cop has to deal with. When you go to a house and there's a domestic problem, you better beware. That's all I'm saying. It's one of the biggest. And in prison, it's the
sure.
same thing. We have visitors that come up to visit inmates. Whew. You don't want to see those beefs inside a visiting room. But,
Wow.
when someone can pull a weapon on you, it's not, that job right there, being a policeman nowadays with cameras on them too, I could never do that job. They
Yeah.
do it in prisons. They got cameras on them. I couldn't do it. I'm
Yeah.
glad I got out when I did.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I've always felt that, by the time somebody calls the cops, Bob, everything's out of control. They're calling you to put things in control. And sometimes
It's like a fire.
when you get there, you got to be a little stern with people. And when you see that on a video, people go, look at the way this police officer has treated this citizen who, by the way, is in his face. I just, I don't know how I could do that with the camera on
Well,
me.
Tony, I mean, you're still working for the union.
Yep.
How is the video seating, and the feedback I get from my police department friends is they like the protection it gives them.
Yeah, I think so.
But how is it union-wide? What feedback do you get?
Yeah, I think for the most part,
About the
in the
cameras.
beginning, they were apprehensive, and and the inherent thing that's wrong with it is you only see the part of the video that somebody's presenting to you.
Well,
You
the
don't see what
media's only
happened 10
gonna
minutes
give you-
before or 10 minutes after,
The media is only going to give you what's entertaining.
Right, exactly. So that's the downfall, but I think that, most law enforcement officers also see it as, the saving grace, that, against false accusations, and, I just think that I think it prohibits police officers from actually doing their job, because sometimes you just can't treat people with kid gloves. I mean, maybe I'm just an old-fashioned type of guy, but Bob, you've worked with with cons. You don't go and say, hey, could you please put that knife down? That's just not the way
Doesn't
it
work that
works.
Yeah, it's not,
Well, I
it's not
think
easy.
the false part about the built-in camera is, so I get pulled over for drunk driving.
Yeah.
And I tell the cop, look, it's this, it's that. Tough. It's on the camera. There's nothing the guy can do. I got to get arrested. They got to tow my car, and that's the end of it. I can look up and say, hey, Tony, I just had a bad day, man. My wife kicked me out of the house. Can I call my brother to come pick me up?
Yeah.
And you just, all right, fine. You can call your brother. Yes, these things, you could let things slide. You
Yeah.
could give a kid a ride home that's a punk. Hey, I'm bringing you home to your dad.
Yeah.
You can't do that with
Yeah, those days are over. Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
They
It's
won't
not-
even roll the window down to talk to a cop.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
And you wonder why a cop's treating you like they do.
No
I
kidding.
mean, we all brought up, right, you talk to a cop, yes sir, no sir, and you just shut your mouth.
Right.
I tell my grandson that every day he leaves me, he's 18, and every day I say, keep your mouth shut and your ears open. I was taught that in the prison system, and believe me, it works.
Yeah.
Because you open your mouth too soon, you can get in a lot of trouble. And I've made a few mistakes in my life, but a camera would just devastate me as a prison guard.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you do a lot of verbal commands. It's all about verbal, If you don't want it to get physical, ever,
Nobody does.
but if you can't speak and say some words that aren't pleasant sometime, but when a guy's spitting at you or throwing feces at you or urine at you, I mean, I've seen it all. That's why I got out after 20. I only did 20 years as a prison guard. I couldn't do 32 years. I don't know how. God bless every prison guard that can do 32, especially up at Susan Baranowski,
Oh, yeah,
our maximum prison.
That's a very, very tough job.
Oh, I worked there 2 months. I couldn't stand it. I said, how did they do it? Concord, the one they
Anybody that does
closed.
that job, but God bless them.
Hey, the
Oh.
governor closed Concord. Do you know why they closed Concord? I know you guys know Andy Rourke. Arthur Sullivan, those type of people. We had such a strong union, Concord Prison, that we're the ones, in my opinion, we got you the 2050 bill. Andy Rourke and Concord Prison Guards. They even got the state troopers the 2575. How would you like that? Huh? How would you like to do 25 years for 75% of your pension? Wow. Concord Prison Guards, to me, 1978 to 1980, Andy Rourke and company, Arthur Sullivan, all those people, they helped get your pensions. Soon as they got that pension, the state, he's left us again. There's 5,000 prison guards in this state, a lot of votes, and we're under the executive branch. So we could push the governor now and then, but not anymore. The union to me is much weaker. I'm talking back when ASME was in charge of
Sure.
our union.
Yeah.
But today, to me, the unions are a big issue across the country. We have a lot of changes are coming, let me put it that way. A lot of changes are coming. And now I finally feel, Tony, that there's hope for my grandchildren. I really do feel that. I didn't feel that a year ago. So, we'll see.
So, Tony, have you heard, it's you and Jennifer Kapansky are up for re-election, right?
Yes.
So I keep hearing, obviously, I'm hearing Martin and Plummer are definitely in. Have you heard any other names that may be running or not running, or?
No, actually,
Yeah.
I haven't, and
Yeah.
again, I don't make up my mind on
Right.
whether I'm gonna run, relative to,
Oh,
who else is running or whatever. I mean, it's nice to know, who your competition is for
What
for
Martin-
sure.
I predict,
what-
right, Dave Martin, he ran last year. He
He could be strong.
Oh,
Well, he
yeah,
was strong last year,
Yeah.
but I think if you run in, Jen runs, you're reelected, both of you. She's been very non-controversial. I mean, of all of the other side, when you say the us versus them,
Right, yeah.
she's been seems laid back. She doesn't
Yeah.
get into the the controversy of being a selectman. If she runs again, I mean, I don't know if she's going to run
yeah,
again.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I haven't had
but
a
I mean, I think
conversation
if
with
you guys will both win re-election. That's my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
Tommy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna grab some airtime now, just do some quick announcements.
Sure.
Take me about a minute or so. Tomorrow, City Life, Linda Bound's gonna be the host, Greg Pappas is gonna be here.
Ah, my man Keith.
Keith Rudy's coming tomorrow too.
All right.
If you want an announcement on City Life, real easy thing, send me a text or call my cell phone number, whatever. If you want to put an announcement on, happy to put it out there. Moving right along with the announcements, people who live in Tewksbury and South Lowell, a week from today, from 9 p.m. till 5 a.m., they're shutting off your electricity. A week from today. National Grid planned power outage
Wow.
rescheduled for January 14th. National Grid will be conducting a critical, well, at any rate, a long story short, write it down, go to bed early. So 9 p.m., they're gonna shut everything off, so,
You
just
see
something to
where,
be thinking about.
John, see where it says South Low neighborhood?
Yeah?
I bet you Jeff Thomas's neighborhood, their lights will stay on. My lights will go off because I live in South Lowell, not
No,
Belvedere.
no, you live in Belvedere.
Yeah, well, we'll see about
Well, see,
that.
if the
You're
lights
safe
go
on this
off.
one, Bob.
No, I'm gonna be, my lights are going out.
Okay, but just, I'll bring it up a little bit more during the week, but I know
Yeah.
nothing about this. This was just sent, this is a City of Lowell notice. Somebody asked me to put it out there, so that's coming up a week from today. Moving right along here, the Bridge Club, they're gonna have a nice hockey game Sunday, January 19th at 1 p.m. Songus Arena. Be there or be square. Tickets are only $20, $16 for a kid. And they have a discounted program too, $4 discount per ticket for a group of 10 or more. So, Bridge Club is saving lives. Good organization. Bobby Cox and Company doing a great job. Lowell Senior Center, they serve lunch 7 days a week. You go over there around 10:30, plunk down your $2. If you don't have your $2, just tell Tara, the gal at the counter, that a little down on your luck, you don't have the $2, and she'll give you a ticket for free. So today is January 7th. You're going to have beef stir-fried with rice. So beef stir, I don't know what that is, but I have never had a bad meal over there. So the only rule is you got to be over 60. You can live in Timbuktu. They don't care where you live. You just got to be over 60, and you can get this 7 days a week, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, holidays, we're closed. Moving right along a little bit here, the Lowell Live Feed Forum. The mill number 5 is going to move over to, they're hoping to move over to the church on, the former church on Merrimack Street. They have a GoFundMe page trying to help the organization move over there. So, good cause. So if you take your phone, go over to the TV set. I'm going to shrink this down so you can actually take a picture of the whole thing. And help these people out for this transition to get out of mill number 5 and go over to their new home on Merrimack Street in the former church. So God bless them. Good people. Good luck to them. And take a picture of this whole thing and go to their GoFundMe page. This has gone by. That's
Yeah,
Christmas.
it's gone.
It's gone by. This is all the places where you can get free food. If you need food, you're a little down on your luck and you want to have some place you can get some free food, take your phone, go over to the TV set, take a picture of this. These are all the places in and around lovely Lowell where you can go get some assistance to help feed your family. And good organizations trying to help everybody out. It's a tough time for a lot of people right now. Bridge Club, again, saving lives. If you want to learn how to cook, become a recovery coach training, you can learn to be a truck driver, EMT. There's training over there, so just be in touch with the Bridge Club. The phone number's down the bottom here, and they'll be happy to put you in a good direction and get you a new career, and they also help you out with your troubles. Tommy, this free bus ride.
Yep.
Buses are free until,
September 30th.
now, how are we keeping the homeless off the buses?
Well,
How's that happening? At the end of the tour,
There's
everybody
been a
gets to get
couple
off-
instances, I'll know more next week at our next meeting, but there's been a couple of instances, and I guess what they do is they'll get on, say, the beginning of the ride, say down at the Kennedy,
Yep,
and let's just say they go out to my Dracut.
Dracut.
No, Dracut route. That goes to the Ayotte state line.
okay, yeah.
Well, they'll let them stay on, but then when they come back to the Kennedy, they basically said, you have to get off. You know, so you're not just, that's how they basically handle it right now.
So I would tell the board to consider a rule that you can't ride the bus for more than 1 hour a day.
Right, it's something along that line, yeah.
And so you put an hour on the character and just say, okay, buddy, you got to get off.
Yeah.
In this weather here, I would say it's like a warming station on wheels, though.
Yeah,
But they're
Yeah.
scary. But Bobby,
Yeah.
if I get on the bus with my granddaughter or my grandson, it's scary. These people, man, they're not gonna hurt me, but I don't want to get on the bus and be frightened.
That's why a lot of the RTAs, as we call it, didn't want the free money. That was one of the reasons, but and our ridership, I understand, is up. Of course, something's free, you're gonna have your ridership up, and that's what you're looking at, so.
While we're talking about, you see, LITA is a flag bus system. And by that I mean, you just got to wave at the bus driver.
Yep.
You don't have to be at the bus stop.
No,
So
as
if a bus
as
goes-
long as the bus has access to right out here. If I was standing right here right now and I put the hand up, he or she has to stop. As long as there's not another lane where you have to pull over, that type of thing.
You just got to give,
Yeah,
if you hear it coming, you just can't turn around, you have to pay attention to it.
How
exactly.
about that congestion rule in New York? You see how they're gonna
Yeah, I
charge
saw
you to
that.
be in
That started
traffic?
yesterday. I have gotten,
I didn't hear
gonna
about
be-
that.
Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna charge you to be in
$9.
traffic.
Really?
Yeah, if you go into down lower Manhattan, it's $9 to get down there.
let's give the government more money.
Trump
That's a
said
good
he's gonna
idea.
get rid of that one, too.
Yeah. Hey, John, Bob, what was that date for the Keefe family polar plunge? We gotta
That's-
get a splash screen for John for that.
I'm gonna do a lot better. I'll get something so John can throw it up there, but I know it's January 25th, and it's at noontime. I usually get there at around 10 o'clock.
Is it on Facebook,
It's
Bobby?
yeah, it's all over Facebook.
Yeah.
I have it on mine. I usually put a friend of mine, Sean Kremen, and just share that.
What's it called? Keith?
Keith-
Oh,
Keith
Oh,
family
Keith.
plunge, is that?
Ray Keefe, I would use the first name Ray, the second name Keefe, Keefe,
Yeah.
but it's Keefe Family Polar Plunge. It's something that happens every year so far.
Yeah.
This will be the third one I'm involved in. I'm not diving in the water this time because I almost couldn't get out last time.
Well,
Wait, you dived in, Bobby?
Well, if you want to call it a dive, go ahead. But
You
I'm
got your
telling
feet
you.
wet, right?
I went in. I made sure my head went under the water, but it's very, very cold. When you get older, you don't move like you think you do.
yeah, you might even,
So
it might
watch
even be a
out.
website, John, but, the reason why I brought it up is that, a very good friend of mine is gonna be one of the beneficiaries, Charlie Canavas. Charlie is the chairman of the planning board out in Dracut and also works with Tom.
On the Housing Authority.
Housing Authority, and a lot of people don't know it, but Charlie was my best man 32 years ago when I got married. And so on Saturday mornings, we have coffee at a place in Dracut, and Charlie used to be part of the Coffee Clutch. So we have a team called Charlie's Coffee Clutch, and if you want to donate to the plunge, you can go on the website and click donate and look for Charlie's Coffee Clutch. And if you donate, our team gets the credit for it. We've committed to raising a certain amount of money for the cause.
Yeah, like I said-
Is the coffee clutch diving in the water? That's what I want.
No one I
You don't have to go in the water, by the way.
Right, no,
You
you
can
don't.
just go down and donate. It's a
No, that's
great
all they
day.
want is they don't care about they just want the money.
You'll meet a lot of great
know.
people.
And then they're also going to
And that's
have
on the
a-
website, so.
Yeah, it's all on the website, and it tells you
that.
that, yeah, and it tells the story. Make sure you do it on the
That's what I'm
Charlie's
saying,
Coffee
yeah,
Clutch.
yeah.
What's the website, Tom?
I
You know the
want
Do you know the website?
I want to say.
Let me look it up.
Keith Family
Polar
Plunge.
Plunge. That will get you somewhere. In my Facebook, I use a friend, Sean Kremen. The reason why I do it, he's great at promoting things like that. He's already got about 5,000 people that see his Facebook, so.
I have also shared it on my Facebook
All right,
page,
good.
but I don't know how far down the line it
That
is.
helps. Everybody, it helps,
Yeah,
no
keep
doubt. If you share it to your friends, you
And
might
then
get
they're all
a
going to do a pub crawl in
There you go.
February, I think. Yeah, there you go.
There we go,
you
Bobby.
go. Yeah, the 25th. And,
So it is January 25th.
Yeah, see that, see
Yeah,
2025?
It's Bobby,
right
it's
next to
on
home?
it's on
If
the,
you-
yeah, there you go. Keep.
You click on that, John, see where it says 2025 benefactors? Up
Where
top?
was he? Wait, what, the top, this guy?
Left,
Well, this
down.
doesn't light up. Benefactors?
yeah, right there. Click on that, and that shows you the two benefactors. Charlie is a good friend of ours. I don't know DJ, but he's got quite the story as
Click on
well.
read their story.
yeah, great guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you their whole story.
Okay, great.
Appreciate that, John.
So if you go to, this is a bunch of words put together, keefamilypolarplunge.org.
Great.
Copy and paste that and blow that up.
And it has the information on the pub crawl as well. The pub crawl is going to be in Lowell. And I think it starts and ends, I'm not sure where it starts or ends. I'm not a drinker, so.
I'm kind of
But I'll
glad,
be there.
I'm kind of glad it's not this week because the temperatures are really low right now.
Yeah.
The water temperature is about 42, 43 degrees.
Oh, easy,
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. So it's cold. But
Yeah.
it's so much fun. People come with their dogs and children, everybody's there. Thank God they got children there because my friend Sean and I, we would put on some bathing suits that most people wouldn't dare put on, you know. But it's all about raising money for great cause, and this is another great cause.
Right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ray Keefe he's like a machine. He just, I called and asked him for something and, 2 hours later it was done. He just, he's definitely into it.
You know, I told my wife this week, I said, I want to run for school committee again. She goes, "No, well, do something else." I said, well, maybe go fight in the Golden Gloves again. I'm only 70, you know.
So we've got a little over 3 minutes to go here, 3.5
Yeah,
minutes to
so-
go. Tony, everything, closing words, you're our guest.
Yeah.
Bob and I are here every week, so.
No,
we-
the only other thing I wanted to talk to that we didn't get to is I finally got the Dracut Charter review approved and funded, so we're getting ready to review our town charter. The Collins Center at the UMass Boston is going to facilitate it. So there was a little controversy about whether we wanted an outside agency to help us with this, whether we had the money to pay for it, and I did get the funds from ARPA to pay for it. So beginning in January, we're going to start a complete review of the town charter, which has not been reviewed in over 10 years. So.
But you don't see
after
any,
this-
yeah, there's probably not going to be any major changes, do you? Or do you see any major
No,
changes?
but I
Like-
mean, it's also good, it's a good time to think about it.
Yeah.
There are lots of questions. Should we go to a 7-member board of
Lots
selectmen?
I've heard those
Should we
stories.
all be
Yeah.
elected on the same day? Should we,
yeah.
become a city? Things like that, not necessarily are going to happen, but, there's nothing wrong with discussing with people that are interested in
So,
those different
I know we
things.
only have 2 minutes, so the charter review committees will submit a bunch of stuff to you people, the selectmen meeting, and then it'll go to town meeting for approval. Does that go to a
Yes.
vote of the voters
Yes,
on a ballot?
Yes, what happens is it's just like a zoning bylaw.
Okay.
You know, it will go through the selectmen to the town meeting, from the town meeting to the ballot.
And there's 7 members on that board?
Yes.
Yeah, I know
Don't
one
ask
of
me
them.
who they are, but
I know
we-
one of them is, because I saw him, he was getting sworn in when I was getting sworn in for something, for the Board of Health. Nice kid. Oh, what's it? Campbell. He's one of the Campbells.
Yeah.
You'll know who I mean if I
Okay.
said his name, you know.
See, Tom, you got Chelmsford that attracts people for education, and I think the biggest thing Dracut has going for them is low taxes,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
property taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I think you're gonna have to go up. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I think it's coming. Where else can they get money nowadays, Tony?
Yeah, for sure.
Really? It's
Yeah.
gonna be your property
Yep,
taxes.
and that's why we're counting on this new town manager to use her financial acumen to make it as painless as possible.
So,
I thought we were gonna have a lot of money coming in from those pot houses, and now I'm finding out
Yeah.
it's just not anymore. We got about 2 million, I think, last year, but I think taxes are all done for the city. Not the state, but the city.
Sure.
well, Tony, if you do run, I'm stating it publicly here right now that I am supporting you for reelection.
I-
Because I know there's controversy the last time, and I'm with you this time. And that's the only election, I was with you in every election except that one, so.
Yeah, we go back a long way, to him.
Long way back, Annex,
Yeah.
community police,
Yeah.
remember that?
Tom,
Yeah.
Tom Bomil knew me when I was nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed.
We talk a lot about the South Common. I think your family name's over
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Say
yeah.
goodbye, boys.
See you next week.
Okay.
Take
Thanks for
care.
watching.
Happy New Year.